Number 10. The Great Filter. Imagine you're walking through a forest, and you're the only person you've seen for miles. The logical conclusion isn't that no one else exists. It's that you're either in a very secluded part of the woods, or something is actively stopping other people from getting here. Now, scale that up to a cosmic level, and you have the Fermi paradox. The universe is mind-bogglingly big, so where is everyone? Where are all the aliens? The scariest answer to this question is a theory known as the Great Filter. This theory suggests that there's some kind of cosmic filter, a major barrier that almost every single intelligent planet-hopping civilization hits and fails to pass. This could be an asteroid wiping them out, a self-inflicted nuclear apocalypse, or some other devastating event we haven't even imagined yet. The chilling part is that we might still be before the filter. We're a fledgling species, just getting our feet wet with space travel. So if the filter is still ahead of us, it means we're not special. We're just late to the party, and that party ends with a bang. Or maybe, just maybe, the filter is behind us. Maybe our ability to survive something like an ice age or a particularly nasty plague was the rare event that almost every other civilization failed. But let's be real. With our track record, the logical bet is that we're still waiting for the main event. Number 9. The simulation hypothesis. Ever have one of those days where you feel like you're just a character in a video game? Where things are just too perfectly timed, too strangely coincidental? Well, some very smart people, including Elon Musk and a bunch of philosophers, have seriously considered the possibility that we are all, in fact, living in a computer simulation. Think about it. Our entire universe operates on a set of fundamental rules, like physics, which are essentially the code of our reality. The sheer scale and complexity might just be a sign of some hyper-advanced civilization running a massive simulation to study their own past, or just for fun. If this is true, then your entire life, your loves, your losses, your morning coffee, it's all just data. You are a bunch of ones and zeros running on someone else's supercomputer. The worst part? If this is a simulation, what happens when the user gets bored and decides to turn it off? Or what if a more powerful civilization buys the game, and the first thing they do is turn on cheats and break everything? Your deepest, most profound moments of existence are just a side quest in someone else's Grand Theft Auto Earth. Number 8. The quantum suicide. Have you ever wondered what happens after you die? The traditional answer is a polite, we don't know. But a truly terrifying scientific theory offers a glimpse into a potential and deeply unsettling answer. The theory of quantum suicide is based on the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This idea suggests that every time a quantum event with multiple possible outcomes occurs, the universe splits into multiple copies. So if you shoot a gun with a 50% chance of firing, the universe splits. In one, the gun fires and you die. In the other, it doesn't, and you live. Quantum suicide takes this a step further and argues that from your subjective point of view, you will always be in the universe where you survive. The universe where you die still exists, but your consciousness, your you-ness, continues on in a universe where the bullet miraculously missed, the car swerved just in time, or the disease went into remission. You'll keep living, jumping from one impossible to survive scenario to the next, forever and ever, experiencing a series of unbelievably lucky escapes. Basically, your consciousness would be immortal, trapped in an endless loop of near-death experiences. Death, in this theory, isn't an ending. It's just a really, really long series of close calls that never, ever ends. Number 7. The Boltzman brain. What if I told you that the universe, everything you see and know, is a complete fabrication of your own mind? Not in some New Age manifest your destiny way, but in a purely statistical, deeply unsettling way. The Boltzman brain theory suggests that given enough time, random fluctuations in a universe nearing heat death could spontaneously create a disembodied brain. This brain would be floating in a void, complete with all the memories and sensory experiences of a full life. Essentially, it would feel like you're living a normal life, but your entire existence, the chair you're sitting in, the screen you're staring at, the sound of birds outside, is a hallucination. The scary part? Statistically, it's more likely that a single disembodied brain would spontaneously appear than an entire universe full of conscious beings. So the chances are higher that you are a Boltzman brain, a random glitch in the cosmic machine, than a real person in a real universe. Everything you've ever loved, everything you've ever learned, every person you've ever met is just a figment of a disembodied brain's imagination. A single lonely mind floating in a silent, empty void with no one to talk to and nothing to do but dream up a reality that doesn't actually exist. Number 6. The phantom time hypothesis. Have you ever looked at a historical timeline and thought, wow, that's a lot of stuff happening in a very short amount of time? Well, a theory called the phantom time hypothesis suggests that a significant chunk of our history, specifically the years 6 and 414 to 911 AD, never actually happened. The theory posits that the calendar we use today is wrong, and that the early Middle Ages, with all their kings, conquests, and cathedrals, were invented by 3 powerful figures: Pope Sylvester II, Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Their motive? To put Otto III on the throne in the symbolic year 1000 AD, and to align the calendar with a more Christian-friendly timeline. The proof, according to theorists, lies in the surprisingly sparse archaeological evidence from that period, as well as the fact that so many different cultures all somehow settled on the same date for the start of the year. It's a conspiracy theory, sure, but a terrifying one. What if everything you learned about the Dark Ages, Charlemagne, and the rise of Islam is a lie? What if a chunk of our collective history was just created? The most terrifying part is not the specific lie, but the idea that our entire historical record, the foundation of our civilization, could be a fabrication, a phantom that we've all agreed to believe in. Number 5. The Big Rip. You've probably heard of the Big Bang, the theory that the universe started from a single, infinitely dense point. You might have also heard of the Big Crunch, the theory that the universe will eventually stop expanding and collapse back in on itself. But what if the opposite is true? What if the universe doesn't collapse, but instead gets ripped apart? The Big Rip theory suggests that a mysterious force called dark energy, which is responsible for the accelerating expansion of the universe, will one day become so powerful that it will overcome all other forces. It will start small, pulling galaxies apart, then solar systems, then planets. Eventually, it will overcome the electromagnetic force that holds atoms together, and finally, it will rip apart the very fabric of space-time. Your body, the planet, the universe itself would be torn apart into a sea of isolated subatomic particles. The end of the universe wouldn't be a quiet whimper, but a violent, unstoppable tear. It's not a quick end, either. It would be a slow, agonizing process, with the last person alive watching as the stars, the planets, and finally their own body gets ripped apart, piece by agonizing piece. Number 4. The Planet 9 hypothesis. You know how some friends are just a little out there? Not in a fun, quirky way, but in a, I'm pretty sure you're an alien and you're just pretending to be human way? Well, astronomers have noticed a similar thing happening in our own solar system. A few years ago, scientists noticed that a bunch of objects in the far reaches of our solar system beyond Neptune all had strangely similar elliptical orbits. It was as if they were being herded by some unseen force. The best explanation? A massive 9th planet lurking in the dark, undiscovered, and playing cosmic sheepdog. It's an idea that's gained some traction, and it's not a fringe theory. But here's where it gets terrifying. If this planet exists, it's about 10 times the size of Earth. It's also so far away that it takes somewhere between 10,000 and 20,000 years to make a single trip around the sun. That's a lot of dark, empty, terrifying space. So why is this scary? Because the idea that there's a colossal planet, a gas giant the size of Neptune, lurking in the shadows of our solar system is a little unsettling. What if it's not just a planet? What if it's a rogue planet? A planet that's not tied to a star, just wandering through the cosmos, and it's about to knock our little corner of the universe off its axis? It's a little like a cosmic boogeyman, a massive unseen force that's just out there, waiting for the right moment to make its presence known. Number 3. The Holographic Universe. You're at a movie theater watching a 3D movie. The effects are so good, you feel like you're in the movie, but you know it's just a clever trick of light and sound. The holographic universe theory suggests that our entire universe is a similar kind of illusion. It proposes that all the three-dimensional reality we experience is actually just a projection of two-dimensional information on a distant surface, much like a hologram. The idea comes from black hole physics and string theory, which suggests that all the information contained within a three-dimensional space can be encoded on a two-dimensional boundary. So your body, your thoughts, the entire universe, it's all just a projection, a cosmic movie being played on a screen far, far away. The scary part isn't that we're a hologram, it's that we can't tell the difference. Your entire life, every memory, every feeling, every moment of joy and sorrow is just a bunch of ones and zeros being projected from a cosmic hard drive. And if that's true, then what's really out there? What's on the other side of the screen? The theory suggests that our reality is just a cheap knockoff of a much more complex and terrifying reality. Number 2, the vacuum decay. You're sitting at home, minding your own business, when suddenly the universe ends. Not with a bang, not with a whimper, but with a silent, invisible ripple of destruction that sweeps across the cosmos at the speed of light. That's the core idea behind vacuum decay, a theory so terrifying it keeps physicists up at night. The theory is a little complex, but the gist is that our universe is in a false vacuum state. Think of it like a ball at the top of a small hill, a stable but not truly stable position. The true vacuum is the valley below, a state of much lower energy. According to the theory, a random quantum fluctuation could, at any moment, trigger a change from our false vacuum to the true vacuum state. This wouldn't be a slow process. It would be a bubble of true vacuum expanding at the speed of light, erasing everything it touches. The laws of physics as we know them would change, and all matter would cease to exist. The worst part is that we would never see it coming. There would be no warning, no flash of light, no cosmic rumbling. It would just happen. One moment you're watching this video, the next, you're not. It's the ultimate cosmic horror story, an invisible, silent, and instantaneous end to everything. Number 1, the possibility of a big crunch. Remember those cosmic theories we talked about? The Big Bang, the Big Rip? Well, let's go back to one of the most famous and perhaps most terrifying possibilities for the end of the universe, the Big Crunch. For years, scientists debated whether the universe would expand forever or eventually reverse course and collapse back in on itself. Recent observations have shown that the universe's expansion is actually accelerating, which seemed to put the final nail in the coffin of the Big Crunch. But hold on, not so fast. A new, more chilling idea suggests that the expansion could suddenly reverse. It's like a car accelerating on a long, straight road, then suddenly slamming on the brakes and going into reverse, all without the driver doing anything. The universe would go from expanding to contracting, and it wouldn't be a slow, gentle process. It would start with the galaxies, then the solar systems, then the planets, all collapsing back into the single, infinitely dense point from which the universe was born. Your body, the planet, the universe, all of it would be crushed into a single point. A cosmic period at the end of a very long, very sad sentence. The terrifying part is not the end itself, but the journey to get there. It would be a slow, agonizing process, with the last person alive watching as the stars, the planets, and finally their own body gets crushed, piece by agonizing piece. It's the ultimate cosmic horror story, the slow, agonizing, and inevitable end of everything.